The cases that made my ex-partner and I quit and decide to go public and blow the whistle on MI5. And the first one was the bombing of the Israeli embassy in London in 1994. Now, in this case, 2 Palestinian students were arrested, and they were tried and convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison each for conspiring to cause this explosion. And yet MI5 had information that Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, had actually bombed its own embassy. And it had done that for 2 reasons. One was to increase security around all the Israeli assets in London. They were always hassling for it, and MI5 was always saying, no, there's not a threat. But they also wanted to shatter a Palestinian political support network, which was operating in London at the time, which these 2 students belonged to. And the lead investigator in MI5, whose code number was, his sort of James Bond number was G91, had seen all the evidence and all the intelligence, and he made that official assessment that Mossad had done this.
Now, I remember this vaguely. This is, we're talking 14 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
But it was huge at the time. I mean, it was a huge worldwide story.
Yeah. In fact, there'd been an earlier attack against some Jewish interest section in Buenos Aires earlier that year as well. Similar sort of MO, modus operandi, with a car bomb driven and parked outside that exploded.
So in 1994, a car bomb explodes outside the Israeli embassy in London.
In London, yeah.
Anyone hurt or killed? I don't remember.
Very minor injuries, that was all. Okay. Nobody was killed. And it was a very sophisticated device. It appeared to eat itself, eat all the forensics. Now, this is very, very rare. Even the IRA, which is a very sophisticated terrorist organisation, could not make bombs that effective. So it looked like a, sort of fairly technical person had put that together. But what emerged from that, the senior MI5 officer who was in charge of the investigation into it and had seen all the evidence but also all the intelligence, which isn't necessarily admissible in court, wrote his formal assessment at the end of the case, and he said he reckoned that Mossad, the Israeli external intelligence agency, had bombed their own embassy. A sort of controlled explosion outside the embassy. And as I said, that was a senior MI5 officer. That was his formal verdict. If you read that on the internet now, you would say that sounds like some mad conspiracy theory. But it wasn't. This was the official position of MI5. And he said that they did it for 2 reasons. One, they were always hassling MI5 for increased security around their embassy and other interests in London. Because, of course, London had a reputation of giving safe haven to Arab dissidents from around the world at that point. And MI5 kept saying, well, there's no reason to increase the threat assessment. You don't need extra protection. So letting off a controlled explosion outside, of course, they immediately got what they wanted there. But crucially, 2 innocent Palestinians were arrested, charged and convicted of conspiracy to cause that attack. And they were very active in a Palestinian support network in London, political campaigning for the people on the West Bank.
Flag terrorism, and these were the cases that made my